My name is Andreas Siebert from Munich Re. I think at the end of this event you are all insurance experts or even reinsurance experts. But I try to bring in another insight to our work with GIS technology. And to be honest, and this is the title of my presentation, so we are working with GIS and Geospatial solutions since more than 20 years now. And if I've seen so many brand new companies working with GIS technology, so we are really dinos, but this fits excellent also to our company, so because we are 135 years old. So we are one of the leading reinsurance companies worldwide, making 50 billion written premium a year. 28 out of this is coming from the reinsurance department. I'm part of the reinsurance group and I'm heading the Geospatial solutions team. So I'll try a typical insurer's way. So we are looking to the past to learn for the future. Let's have a look what are the challenges for our business, how we are coping with these challenges today, and what we expect for the future and how we are prepared to cope with these challenges. First of all, and this is only, let's say, the geolocation-based or the location-based requirements in our business. We see increasing concentrations and insurance penetrations, although or mainly in risk-prone areas. Another point which is a high motivation for us, we need higher and better risk transparency to do our risk modeling more precise and higher granularities. Higher and costly losses due to natural catastrophes. This is one of the outcomes of our global statistics. Accumulation control. This is a key in our business and mainly in reinsurance. And we see more and more very, very complex interdependencies between different lines of business. For example, supply chain or cyber risk is one of these examples. And finally, it's really dramatic to see how many new technologies and influences are changing our business model. So today we are dealing with cyber risks, with drones is an issue, also from an insurance point of view, pandemics, aging infrastructure, and other disciplines. If we are looking, and this is a study from the colleagues from Allianz. In Allianz, the primary insurers are our clients, mainly our clients. They have done an analysis with their corporates and what are the main risks. And as we can see here on the number one, it's business interruption and supply chain, natural catastrophes, and fire and explosions. And fortunately, all these categories can be supported with GIS technology or geospatial analytics. As I told you, we started approximately 20 years ago with GIS at Munich Re, and it was a very long-term development phase, and I would split it in four different levels or phases. The first one was the nerd phase. In the early days, so we had nice, very friendly geo people making beautiful, colorful maps. And you have to know, until these days, insurance industry has been very innocent in thinking spatial. So this was the beginning of what we call today geographical underwriting, a very, very typical situation. And some years later, we had the first supporters. Some of our underwritings and risk engineers identified us as really useful colleagues. These guys can support my business, so we give us a new insight in our claims and loss management. In the meantime, we are at least in level 3, which is called the community forms. Yesterday we heard a lot on community, and this is exactly what we try to do, to share with these colleagues our experience and our feeling and the visual view to our business. Community forms means today we are fully implemented in the overall workflow and supply chain of our company. Everything starts with one PCR info version, and today it's a fully implemented solution throughout the whole organization with thousands of underwriters worldwide. Now we are entering phase number 4. I call it the ROE phase. Now the colorful mapping phase is over. So now we have to bring better examples and also future and agile examples how we want to deal with these technologies in the future. So now the happy days are gone and we have to earn money with our services here as well. If we are talking geo or location intelligence, so where we are today and how we are supporting our value chain. Everything starts with this little map, a Worldmap of Natural Hazards. This was the first thing, the first project we have done in the early days, a fully digitalized version of this. This is until today the core of many of our services. Digitalization these days looks like this. Only the older of us know what it means to identify, to outline, to digitize risk zones or whatever. So digitalization today is a keyword also in our industry, and everyone is really exciting what goes on if you are talking on big data and these kind of new technologies. From product development to sales and marketing, risk management and claims management, of course we can support the overall process. The strongest one is the risk management. Mainly risk identification, risk assessment, the modeling, rating and budgeting. It is a very control and steering thing, and the risk accumulation control, as I mentioned earlier. I have some examples with me. Everything starts with risk identification. It sounds very easy for many of you working in the US, but on a global scale, to do the right geo-referencing, the right geo-coding for hundreds and thousands of industrial sites or properties is a real challenge, especially in the early days. Today we have excellent companies supplying us. From the single point, so now we are looking for industrial sites. What is inside the industrial sites? We have to know what is the overall value, the exposure of the risks. The risks are the buildings or the facilities, the commercials, the industrials inside. Why? Because in many cases we have only aggregated information and we have to break it down by using GIS technologies. In the next level, so we are entering now the field of risk analytics, where we are the typical GIS approach, where we are overlaying natural perils, for example, with our property portfolio. Very similar to the great example we have seen yesterday from the Swiss Re guys, the geo-risk analyzers. We are running same technologies. Very efficient, and it's not only on a single risk evaluation, so we can upload thousands and 10,000s of risk locations and do very efficient and great analysis around the globe. A very typical example is also the, let's say, the footprint scenario approach, where we overlay footprints of hurricanes, earthquakes, and floods with our portfolios. In this case, we are talking on hurricane in combination with oil platforms, with oil rigs. We can identify what is inside and outside the hurricane, windstorm zones, intensity zones, and after the event, we can make our lessons learned, which type of platform react in different ways according to the average wind speeds or the maximum wind speeds. Throughout our organization, we are running, I call it, visible and invisible solutions. The Geospatial portal, which will be the end of my presentation, is a very visible one because everyone has access to it. But there are also internal solutions which are completely in the dark. The geodatabase or the geodata service we are running is supporting, I think, approximately 20 internal underwriting tools with different functions. In the older days, we have been very famous for our global geocoding solution. But as you know, the analysis, this makes the power of our work. And a very obvious tool is a client service we are offering, and it's also used by the internal colleagues. It's Nathan, a natural assessment network, very similar to the tool we have seen from our Swiss colleagues yesterday. So this is, in this example, we can describe the full transition from map to app. Within 10 years, so when we started with this digitalization of a paper map, today we are running mobile solutions on iPhones, on different devices, where you have direct access to the natural hazard situation worldwide. And this is the screenshot out of it. On the left-hand side, you can see what we call the hazard score ranking. With one mouse click for each and every address or position worldwide, you have direct access to 1,000 of natural perils. Plus, we want to enrich it with other data sources in the near future. A very holistic and general view, and this is highly appreciated, mainly by the property underwriters worldwide. Let's switch to the innovative outlook now. On the left-hand side, as very simple approach, insurance data consists of the business component and of the geolocation. We have very deeply focused on the geo components in the last years. But of course, the business data is also extremely important. We used it, but mainly the total sum insured or the overall value has been the only information we could make use of. Why? Because we are working in different technical worlds and technical solutions. And so now we are really happy that we have seen many cooperations also from Esri with other companies, for example, with SAP. SAP is, for example, the core system for all our business data. And now we see a very strong linkage between these companies, which enables us to have a very efficient and powerful access to our raw productive data without any technical transitions. So this makes it much more useful for us. Very similar with SIS or SAS, which is an analytical tool. So there we also have a full integration, and everything is based on Hadoop technology, where we have powerful engines in the background. As I mentioned before, our business has been mainly focused on the property side, but we have a lot of other lines of business who are highly interested in our support. The marine transportation is one of the fields. Colleagues, agricultural business, marketing and sales, and life and health are also future users of our technologies. Casualty and engineering in a second row. And the communication and collaboration, these are the keywords if we are working with these cross-line units here. I want to give you a short outlook what are some of our latest examples. This is a map from Europe. You see lines and points. This is a cyber risk or the cyber infrastructure, cables, and internet exchange points. We overlay it with political risk maps. This gives to many of our underwriters, and as I mentioned before, cyber is an issue, a totally new view on his risk. And it's not only a static picture. Of course, we want to update, for example, the political situation on a quarterly level. Of course, we are highly interested in near-time and real-time data, because this is an enormous enrichment to our solutions, because it keeps the platforms vivid. The underwriters can see directly, and we are using in these days USGS earthquake services or other alerts. You can see automatically what's going on around the globe. Zoom in, identify, are my exposures in the neighborhood of the event, yes or not? Very useful. Many of us, and this is also an initiative I highly appreciate from ESRI, to bring together much more satellite, drone technology, and GIS, because for us it's one world, it's one data world, and mainly our loss engineers highly appreciate high-resolution imagery and drone imagery to support their post-loss estimation process. This is an example from China. Last year, where we had a huge explosion. Several billions of dollars were gone after a huge explosion in a harbor area in Tianjin. absolutely new insights for the engineering group. This is part of a big data initiative we've done, using AIS, vessel tracking data, creating vessel activity intensity maps, overlaid with subsea cable and anchorage behavior, because we have seen a lot of vessels anchoring are destroying subsea cables. So this was the idea. Absolutely new insights in our business model. For the colleagues from the Life and Health department, we have a cooperation with the US-based Pandemic Epidemic Data Center. These guys are offering great information, and not only where it happens, but also with a timestamp, so we can make great spatial-temporal analysis on the dispersion and of MERS, SARS, flu, and all these kind of pandemics worldwide, including these hotspot or heat maps. This is an example from my colleagues from American Modern. They are also part of the Munich Re group. They've done a great work in the latest month on marketing and sales using the Tapestry data set. And they are analyzing, for example, to support their mobile home business on a county level, how many customers are there, what is the market penetration, what is the hit ratio. This is a typical primary insurance view. So we didn't, from the reinsurance side, haven't seen a need to do this, but within the group, it's a very useful tool. And as you can see, and this is also one of our favorite ways on telling our stories, this is to create story maps. Very easy technology, and we prefer it because this also enables our sales, marketing, or client managers to come up with a geo-related story in a very, very efficient and easy, usable way. All these new solutions you have seen right now, they are brand new, and they are bundled under our new Geospatial portal, which is a group-wide platform where we share great business stories, success ideas, mainly to leverage innovation in different fields and lines of business, with the data and content section in the middle part, so we can open the data treasuries we have throughout the organization, because now many colleagues can contribute to our company data set. And of course, we can also do some project work according to different units or entities throughout the organization. This is a very agile solution. Why? We can do it from our geospatial team. We need only a little support from the IT guys in this, so we are very flexible and we have full access to the content and the solution. If we are looking at the trends influencing geospatial insurance innovation in these days, so we have autonomous driving, Internet of Things, smart homes, smart cities, on-demand logistics, geomedicine, for example. And on the technical side, we have predictive analytics, spatial big data, indoor positioning or building information modeling, drones, near-time, real-time data. Looking at these opportunities, I'm really very optimistic that for new markets, for new challenges, geospatial technology will be an even more important technology in the future than we had made in the past, all these great experiences with Esri solutions. Thank you very much.
What? Andreas, wait, before you run off. That was really amazing. And it struck me, I have a former colleague of mine who's a data scientist that works at the University of Minnesota. And he refers to the work that we do and providing data in terms of maps as visual data mining, and that he can get a ton of information across in seconds. And it feels like this is really what you're able to accomplish going forward. So congratulations, well done, thank you.
Thank you, thanks Gary.
Okay.